I sent you last week, Cap was listening. He said
there was no audio.
YouTube and Facebook, there was no sound.
Yeah, I think that was on my end. I've been. Was that before or after I reinstalled
Your
Windows
show
11?
will go live in 5 seconds.
We're talking.
4, 3,
well, that's not
2,
good.
1.
Blog Talk Radio.
Blog Talk Radio.
This is all about wine, the talk show dedicated to the wine industry since 2009. Featuring winemaker, cellar master, vineyardist, and tasting expert, Ron.
Basically, what we're doing this program is trying to educate people and trying to make wine less confusing and more friendly.
From coast to coast and around the world.
We really have had some neat people on the program. I love that.
Post your questions and comments during the live show on our Facebook page at www.facebook.com/allaboutwinebtr. Again, that's www.facebook.com/allaboutwinebtr. And now, All About Wine is on. Here's Ron.
Yeah. Okay. There he is. And all right, I think that's on.
You sound like you're in a big empty room, and because you're like echoing and stuff.
Echoing. That's interesting.
Yeah.
Okay. Let me see if there's anything. Yeah, I had
you're
to.
away from standing back away from the microphone or something. That's the sound I'm getting.
Huh. Well, I'll have to listen to it and see what. No, monitor's off. Blah blah blah. There's way too many settings here. Yeah, I don't know if you caught that, but I had to. I think it was after the show. Over the weekend, I completely reinstalled Windows 11, and it saved. Luckily, it saved all my files, all 607,000 whatever it is on there, but it was there, and some of the apps were still there, but I still had to reinstall a couple of them, and I just found out 20 minutes ago that I hadn't installed everything because I was trying to get on here, and I go,
oh no,
can't find the file you're looking for. Well, look for it then. And so I still have to, I'm still looking for whatever setting I need to, I don't know. If it's echoing too bad, then I'll just have to mute myself, which I do anyway. While you're talking, I do mute myself. There is one thing though, as we're getting started here, thank you all for tuning in. It's 7:03 p.m. 7:03? Yeah. And I was going through Facebook right before the show started after the other issue and had to, waiting for the software to install. And I came across an article about Disneyland, and it said a water professional says Disneyland is the scariest place on earth as far as hydration. And looking at the article, it says this guy is an acclaimed writer, TV persona, water tasting educator, and the world's foremost water sommelier. Sommelier? And people were joking about it because, they don't associate that word with water. And so I started looking into it, and it's an actual thing. There is a professional water people out there. It is. And he actually obtained the O-1 visa reserved for those with extraordinary talents to grow to be a citizen of the United States of America, based mostly on his expertise at distinguishing high-quality ingesting water. What? What?
I never heard of such
thing. Yeah, and I was like, okay, is this just an article they did for publicity? But no, he's been on, or he's on National Geographic. He is, in 2014, he was America's only water sommelier. it sounds like a big deal. And I put on one of the comments, must be a joke or something. And I put on there, I said, I produce this wine show and I know what a wine sommelier is and what it takes to get up there. I didn't know water was a thing, but
Right.
this guy's up there, Martin Rees, some big deal in the water industry, I guess. I never heard of this. And I thought, well,
I've never heard of him or a water sommelier.
Yeah.
That's odd,
yeah.
to say the least.
Yeah, and he says that he was talking about the hydration choices at the Disneyland Resort and, all this, the Coca-Cola, Sprite and all that kind of stuff. And then he starts talking about Dasani water, bottled water and all that other stuff. And it just, the whole article goes into it, but the specialty, I didn't know that was, I don't know, maybe he's still pulling one on us, but I just thought that was kind of funny.
That is really strange.
Yeah.
I've never heard of such a thing. I mean,
yeah, water.
Water?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, do you swish it around and go, oh, this is clear? Yeah, this has, I sense
this
a little
has
bit of
a little taste of
plumminess, salt.
toilet. Ooh.
Ooh, yeah, oh yeah. This is not edible. Not something for consumption. But yeah, it's just I don't know.
I'm going to have to look that up myself and look up water sommelier and see if there's anything on it or if I can find out anything. What is his name again?
Martin, Martin, Rees, Riese. And apparently there's a film called The Water Sommelier, National Geographic. He's one of a very small pool who have made a profession out of tasting and judging water. What?
There's water judgment? Oh my gosh.
Sure.
Maybe we should have a sub show called All About Water.
Yes. Yeah.
Not to belittle the guy, but that just seems
No.
really odd.
I thought when I saw the headline, I go, no, that's not a thing. There's no way. And I was going to join in on the comments are like questioning. Are you kidding me? That's not a thing.
Yeah, really.
And then I go to Google and he's interviewed on CBS News. He's on National Geographic with something. Water menus I'm seeing. I mean, there's, I don't know.
That's going to be. I'll have to look that up myself. That just seems, wow. I don't know.
I thought myself until I saw it, and I go, okay, these are not jokingly. National Geographic is not a fly by night.
No, it isn't. It's
media or something. They've been in.
That,
Yeah. I just,
wow.
I don't know. David Fried is another one. Portfolio. He's got a portfolio. Rees is the most well-known. And then there's David Fried or Fried, Freid. Tasting, analyzing, judging. Oh my gosh. I'm stumped.
Judging?
I don't know. Yeah.
judging water. I wonder who submits samples for them to judge. I wonder if it's your local water department or
yeah. Well,
that opens up a whole field of questions in itself.
They're talking about spring water, mineral water, is sparkling water. I mean, I guess so. I don't know. Very odd.
Funny.
Very odd.
I mean, not funny, haha, just very odd.
Yeah. Yes. Exactly. That's what I thought. I was like, no, this can't be it. They misspelled, water taster or something. But no, it's a thing. It's a profession.
Water sommelier.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
So.
Well,
we'll
that's
see.
Interesting. I'm glad you found something like that.
Every once in a while, I come across something and I had to bring it up. I don't know. I didn't want to take over that, but I thought that was in a way related to wine. But then again, it's like no, there's something doesn't sound right. But it's a real deal.
I've never heard of such a thing.
Yeah.
Well, if they get water sommeliers, maybe we'll start seeing sommeliers in other areas too, like
Coffee.
you know,
Could
like
Kaplowitz be a cigar sommelier?
yes. He should become a cigar
How
sommelier. The whole group of guys in
Yeah.
there. I mean, they can just become judges and become cigar sommeliers. Yeah.
Yep. So I don't know.
Wow.
Where's it
That's
go?
funny.
Yeah.
That is funny. Are we hooked up to anybody? Anything? Are we live or?
Oh yeah, we're on Facebook and YouTube. Yeah, I got it taken care of last week before I had to reinstall. I had to reinstall Windows, but it was just a ridiculous thing. I thought, you know what, I'm doing too many things going on. 10 minutes ago, let me see if I can hear part of the show here. Yeah,
So everybody out there know we have another issue with my sound this week. Although I was able to 2 weeks ago. Was it 2 weeks? Yeah, I guess 2 weeks ago.
Mm-hmm.
We didn't do a program because I had problems getting on to Blog Talk Radio, and Mike couldn't hear me. So if he can't hear me, then no one can.
Mm-hmm.
I tried all sorts of steps I can think of to get rebooted, get on, and everything, and nothing worked. And so we ended up doing, Mike ended up doing a 15-minute show and then shutting it down because
I don't have material.
I wasn't there,
Oh.
and obviously he wasn't prepared.
Yeah. I didn't have the material. I was like fishing for ideas. I was like, I don't know.
Yeah.
The master is not able to.
We didn't
get on
do
here.
a show 2 weeks ago. But last week, we got on, and we had a problem at the beginning, too, and we both had to shut down and reboot and get back on, and we were able to get on, and everything worked okay.
Yeah.
Again, when I tried to get on today, it was the exact same thing as 2 weeks ago, except when I called in on the guest line tonight, I was able to get through, whereas last week, 2 weeks ago, they wouldn't even let me through the guest line.
Yeah.
And so Mike had to go in as the host because without that, we can't do anything. And, it's just the whole stuff in there. But I don't know what's going on. I mean, I have problems like this, every other week. We have a guest coming up in a couple of weeks that we're going to have to, have everything hooked up for it and ready for it.
Mm-hmm.
So, So that's why Mike is, to me anyway, he sounds a little distant. He's on the host line, and he's doing that. So, bear with us. We even after 13 years, we still got bugs we got to iron out here.
Pre-recording these is looking better and better every time.
I know.
Has to be
That's
somewhere.
very true. Then we don't have to worry about this, issues. We can always do it.
Yeah. Recording.
Do a pre-recording and then put it in the time slot.
Yeah.
But tonight, actually, my engineer just brought me in a wine. So that was nice. This is Urban Barn. URBAN, Urban Barn, Cabernet Sauvignon. It's a California 2020, and it says on the back, let me turn my light on. I had a storm go through here, too, right before I started to hook up. I don't know if that was part of the issue or not, but, So, Urban Barn, 2020 Cabernet Sauvignon, California. It says, on the cusp between city and country lies the urban barn, rustic yet chic. These barns were once used for cattle and horses. Now they are built and contain barrel rooms and fermentation equipment. This is the new barn, the winery, the Urban Barn. Vented and bottled by Urban Barn Winery, Manteca, 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 California. Cabernet Sauvignon, 13% alcohol, and then the required government warning on it. That's all it says. Urban Barn. I have not had this yet. We find deals and we get them, and we got a stack of wines here that we taste all the time, different wines. But this is the Urban Barn. Let me see. Very nice Cabernet aroma to it. I don't know how long she had it open out there. I'm in the den, locked myself in here to do the show, and very nice Cabernet aroma. It's got I'm getting a hint of pepperiness in the aroma. It's got some plum, and I can smell the alcohol too. It seems the alcohol is quite strong in the aroma. Let me take a sip. Little light, but good mouthfeeling. The legs are a little light, but they're there. Second sip always. Nice. You can taste the oak. Obviously, there's some oak aging on this one. The oak is there. The fruitiness doesn't come out real well. The plum I was tasting, or I was getting the aroma, was not passed on to the taste. It was a little hot, which is a term used, for those of you who don't know, wine being hot is a term used to describe alcohol taste or alcohol content that starts to take over the taste. A little hot on the initial taste, but then that dissipates pretty nicely. The aftertaste is, so far, it's been the most enjoyable thing of everything. It's still there. It's starting to come out the Cabernet, the classic Cabernet flavors in the aftertaste. And it's really nice on the aftertaste, but I'm a little disappointed in the front end of it. Let me pour myself more. She was a little stingy on her initial pour. But let me see. Okay, well, that aroma's coming out better on this. Plum, some dark fruit, hint of currant. This isn't bad at all in the aroma. I think it just needs to open up for a while. So what I will do is I will talk to you and let it sit here and let it open a little bit and see. I will revisit it in a few minutes here, and we'll see what we got. And if the aroma opens up even more, and if the taste opens up and all that. So we will see on that. So, okay, when I rebooted, I lost a lot of my tabs. I had a bunch of tabs open that I was going to talk to you tonight about, and when I rebooted, obviously all the tabs closed, so I'm going to have to flick through them here and find them again for us. And okay, not that tab. Let's go back to here and see what we got. Oh, come on. Okay, there we go. Well, let's. Tassel Ridge Winery. Here's one of that I was going to talk to you about. Tassel Ridge Winery is located in Iowa, southeast Iowa, in town of Leighton, I think, Leightton, I'm going to have to call up my relatives in Albia, which is about half hour away from here, and ask them how they pronounce the town's name. I think it's Lighton. But Tassel Ridge Winery is located at 1681 220th Street in Lighton, Iowa. They're southeast of Des Moines, a little southeast of Pella, Iowa. In fact, Pella has a great Tulip Festival every year. They are open 7 days a week, year-round, and they have, a new pork recipe out that's made with red, white, and blue wine for the upcoming holiday. You can check that out on their website. Go to TasselRidgeWinery.com. And they have their weekly wood-fired oven pizza every Thursday and Friday, 7th and 8th. July 7th and 8th. I was going to say, why then? Thursday and Friday, July 7th and 8th from 5 to 8:30. Pizza is served until 8 o'clock. And so you can get all sorts of different pizzas, wood-fired pizza. They also are doing tastings, but reservations only. You have to call ahead and do it. And they have flights. They have a couple of different flights. I think 2 flights, depending on the flight. 5 tasting flights. Wow. 5 tasting flights, and they serve warm bread and cheese and dipping oil with it. And also, salted cashew nuts are also included in it. So those range from $15 to $25, and they've got gift certificates and all sorts of stuff. I've told you about Tassel Ridge before. I'm telling you about it again. By all means, if you're ever in that area of the country, southern Iowa, check it out. It's really a nice winery, great people, and the wines tend to be sweet. They use a lot of the Midwest muscadine type grapes, but not all of them are. There's a whole different styles and all that. The red, white, and blue wine is really not sweet at all. It's really quite good. I've had that before. So check out Tassel Ridge Winery, located, like I say, in southeast Iowa. And let me see. I know I have other stuff here that I need to talk to you about. It makes me mad that this is not working properly. I have to blame it on Blog Talk Radio too. It's only thing I can think of that's causing these problems. And so, okay, well, it's not that section. Let me jump over here in this section and see if it's what I want is in here. Okay, here's another one. Enoree River Winery. Again, I've talked about them quite a few times. They said they got all sorts of things going on in Enoree River Winery. June 19th, which is this weekend, has their last Sunday live music before they take a break through the summer because of the heat. It starts at 2 o'clock, ends at 5:30. They said pack your lawn chair, head out to the winery. We'll have wine by the glass, by the bottle, or as a slushie available for purchase. The group, Fay Sue McLean and Brandon Turner with Roll In Cuban. I have no idea what music they play or anything else, but it's a free music series that they do. Also, karaoke is, they do karaoke coming up, so I'll keep you informed on that. Hometown America, Thursday, June the 23rd, 6:30 to 8:30. Let's see, more info about that. What is Hometown America? I don't know. Paint party, paint and sip party at the winery. You beverages are available for purchase. Wine tasting is not available. You can buy wines by the glass. You can purchase a souvenir cup to go with you. Obviously, pets are not allowed. Smoking and vaping is not allowed. But it's $42, which includes all painting supplies and a free glass of wine. And light snacks will be available, as well as door prizes will be available. So if you're there, you want to join the Hometown America Paint Party, you can do that. And let's see what else they got coming up here. There's tastings and all that. They are located at 1650 Dusty Road in Newberry, South Carolina. Their phone number 803-276-2855. So, again, if you're in that part of the country, that's a good stop there too. And if you do stop at any of these wineries that I'm telling you about, tell them that All About Wine. You heard about them on All About Wine. They would enjoy that, and show them. I think they've all been guests on the show, and show them that being a guest on the show is a good thing there. Okay, let me see here what else I've got. Wine Spectator is having their Wine Spectator's Grand Tour in Florida. 200 wines rated 90 points and above. It's going to be Saturday, June the 18th, 2 days. It's going to be at Seminole Hard Rock Hotel and Casino in Hollywood, Florida. That's just north of Fort Lauderdale, right? Hollywood's north of Fort Lauderdale, not south. Okay, so Hollywood, Florida, at the Hard Rock Casino and Hotel. Over 200 wineries. You can get tickets online. They have wines from all over the place, all over the world, and they are all highly rated wines. Oh my gosh, it's a download the wine list. There's 200 wines here you can actually get, and I mean literally from all over the world. So that is this Saturday, right? 16th, 17th, 18th. No, that's Sunday. 19th is Sunday. Father's Day. Oh, well, that's a good present for Dad. Take him to this thing. Oh my gosh, can you imagine his surprise? You will definitely be the favorite child if you do something like this for him. This is 3 cities, 3 spectacular wine tastings, but the one in Florida is taking place this Sunday. Let me see how much the tickets are. Just tell me. Florida. General admission, $275. VIP admission, $375. So the VIP gives you more time, more tastings, and some extra stuff. It's for an extra $100. VIP, everything outlined, plus an extra hour, and tasting of 200 wines, souvenir Riedel wine glass, and a selection of food. So you fill up on the food and all that, but it gives you the extra hour. And believe me, when you go to wine tastings, you start walking around, you're saying, oh my gosh, the time is up, and you wish you had that extra hour. So this weekend, this Sunday at Seminole Hard Rock in Las Vegas has already been done. That was June the 4th. Washington, D.C. was June the 10th. And here we are down in Florida for the June 18th. Wine Spectator's Grand Tour. Okay. And let me go back to this. Well, I had an article that I was going to talk about, and as soon as I can find it, we will. But okay, here we go. I found it. Yay! Let me do another aroma test on this wine since it's been open for about 20 minutes now. Oh yeah, the aroma's opening up a little bit. I'm getting a little bit more berry flavor, blueberry, blackberry. The plum is still there. I think the plum is overpowering, but it's also opening up those other berries in there, and it doesn't give you the smell of the alcohol. I told you the smell of alcohol. It's dissipated since it's been open for a little bit here. So, taste. That's open up too. That's nice. The alcohol doesn't overpower the taste like that first sip did, so leaving it open for a little bit to help that. I'm still not transferring that aroma of the plum and the blackberry blueberry into the taste that much, though. That's sad. I really wish it would. The aftertaste, again, is really delightful. I like the aftertaste on this wine. That's one, or the finish, if you will. Either way you can go with the word. Very, very pleasant that way. So, all right, that is Urban Barn. Cabernet Sauvignon, Urban Barn, California Cabernet Sauvignon, 2020 vintage. So this is reasonably young. I mean, 2020 vintage is reasonably young for wine. So, there we go. Okay. Everyone is aware, you should be if you're not, but everyone is aware of the Russian invasion of the Ukraine. And I jokingly said at the beginning, before they invaded, I said, oh, Putin wants to go in and invade Ukraine because he wants to get the wine, because Putin is a wine drinker and he enjoys his glass of wine or bottle. And I said that Ukraine is a big winemakers, and that's why he's invading. Well, I got an article here about the Ukraine winemaking, and it says that the war is really starting to threaten this. They've been making progress for years, and the war is starting to cause some problems. So, the Ukraine's wine culture has blossomed in recent years, but now because of neglect and destruction, it is starting to fall apart again. Ukraine's wine, though, let me tell you a little bit about some of their wines and some of their prices. Here's Continental Hills Cabernet Sauvignon 2014, 84 points, and it is $6. You know, you're going, wow, $6. You know, they're all pretty cheap. Are you getting my engineers in here? And I'm going to ask her, are you getting any plumminess, blackberry out of the aroma or taste?
A little plummy.
Yeah, that was my first major. The plum was coming out, but
yeah, I don't do blackberry.
I'm getting some nice aftertaste, but I'm a little disappointed. So she came in, and the cat ran in here too. And the sad thing is about the cat in here, she likes to walk on the keyboard, and there would go everything. Okay, there's that. All right. So, I know I do. Okay, here we go. The wine aromas of pomegranate and black plum, flavors of cranberry and black raspberry, finish is short-lived yet pleasantly acidic. That's what they're saying about this. Not the one I'm drinking, but the Cabernet Sauvignon from the Ukraine, the appellation Ukraine. 12% alcohol, it says, and from Continental Hills Winery. And they have quite a few listed here, quite a few wineries here, or wines listed, 19 of them. But 84 points, 82, here's one that's 86 points, which is a Muscat. 85, 83, 82, 86, there's another 86. There's an 88, a Reserve Riesling. Let's see what that says on the review. That's $9, and it says this has aromas of white flowers, honeysuckle, and flavors of lemon custard, guava, and lemon rind. The finish is rounded yet crisp. So these are Ukrainian wines. This is what they've been doing. Let's go back to what they had to say about what's going on there. Ukrainian wines have been around for a long time. They good viticultural history and some nice international connections. Okay, let's put that there and submit that and click that. These pop-ups, everybody deals with them. But there's a winemaker that's in the Ukraine that was born and raised in the Ukraine, and Odessa, actually, which is the third largest city in Ukraine, and he has worked for years in the Finger Lakes region. And so he's familiar with cold weather. In the Ukraine, the immigrant vintners from Switzerland did their first planting just south of Odessa in around 1822. So this is the country's oldest winemaking company, the Odessa Vinprom. Odessa Vinprom. And it was founded by a winemaker from France in 1857. So a little back history there. During the Soviet era, though, they said that they lost all of their vines, and they were not just left there to die and are unattended and just let go. They were actually cut out of the ground. Why, I don't know. I don't understand the reasoning behind that, but that's what they did. The vines were cut out of the ground. And so in the end of the 90s, when they started to put everything back together again and make wine again, they had to start from scratch. A full thing, because no vines, no anything. The winery that they're at now is the what's it called? His own winery. Well, it doesn't say. Just let me see. What's it called? Gotta click on it and see. Are you over 18? Yes, I am. Now, if I weren't over 18, I would still click yes if I want to get into it. That's sort of a silly thing to do. Ace is, that's, the guy who owns the winery and runs the winery is Stakhovsky. Stakhovsky, Stakhovsky. Stakhovsky, a tennis player. And Stakhovsky is actually beat Roger Federer at Wimbledon, knocked him out in one of the early rounds at Wimbledon. So he has himself a background in that, and now he owns the winery. They have 20 hectares of rent. He rented 20 hectares, and Sergey is what they call him, first name. But Stakhovsky Wines was first harvest was in 2018, and he makes an Ace by Stakhovsky Merlot, a Saberavi, and a Traminer. I don't know the Saberavi. I'm not familiar with that, but those are his wines, and he started that and he says he is on Ukraine's western region of Zakarpattia, which is also known as Transcarpathia, neighbors to Slovakia, Hungary, and Romania. And he says the region is excellent, great growing conditions for all that area. The foothills of Carpathian Mountains, and on the other side, the Pannonian Plain, which the plateau on which Hungary lies. So a little lesson in geography along with this here. Look at that. But Ukraine's other leading wine regions along the Black Sea coast in the country's south, those are the ones that I'm familiar with, those are the ones that I've seen, they have had problems. The winery, the Beykush, Beykush, and let me see what Beykush, what the winery site says. Beykush Wine and Art, family-owned winery. Their vineyards are surrounded by water. They got, let's see, 11, 12 different wines. They have a Beykush Wine Club. All sorts of neat stuff there. So, Beykush Winery is located down in the lower part of Ukraine by the Black Sea. And they say that they can see missiles landing in the vineyards and destroying parts of the vineyards. But they said everyone still is working and trying to make the wine. Well, that would be somewhat distracting, if you ask me. If you have missiles landing in the vineyard, what if they just happen to hit the building? I mean, so they tend to try to keep things on track. And they said a lot of the employees have left to go defend the country, and they said they are trying to protect the region around them and from firefights and looting and stuff. So it's been a concern there. Another winery, a major producer in the Kherson region, Kherson, Kherson. Obviously, I'm not Ukrainian, so I'm probably destroying these names for you. Kherson region has been occupied by Russian forces since the second day of the war. That is the Prince Trubetskoy Winery. And let me see what it says about this. It says a lot about this, but it's written in Ukrainian, so I really can't tell you. But they got a map to show you where it is, and well, there's some stuff in English. Birth of Wine, Terror, Vineyards, Winemaking. Nice little article there. So you can check out these websites. These are really some nice websites. Let's look up Ukrainian wines and go to some of the websites and check out the wineries. So they, even if the wineries themselves made it through intact of the war, many local roads did not, and which stopped shipping completely. And the logistics and the timing of the arrivals of the employees are impossible. Here, be to work at 8 this morning, and you have a road that's been bombed and all sorts of stuff around it and everything. And I can imagine how difficult it would be to try to run something there. But they're saying that they, because of all the stuff, the wineries are still operating as many as they can, as much as they can. But don't expect a 2022 vintage, especially the south part, area along the Baltic Sea there. They don't expect much of a vintage. And they said they would be surprised if a whole lot of the wineries survived down there. Winemaking and wineries started to make a comeback in recent years in Ukraine. They've been embracing Georgia's Saperavi grape, which is, let me see, let me click on something here and see what it says about it. Here's the Teliani Valley 2020 Winery Saperavi grape. It says aromas of black cherry, caramel, and toast pave the way for flavors of black plum, raspberry, butterscotch, bitter orange, violet, and anisette. Grippy tannins lightly recede into a flowering finish. $16.90 points it was awarded. But Saperavi grapes, I suppose I can go to my grape list and tell you what it is, but I'm not going to. 89 points on that, but the Saperavi grape is a Georgian grape from their neighbors in Georgia. They used to hold festivals and wine festivals and all sorts of stuff there. It was growing in popularity and really starting to take off until the invasion by Russia. They're saying that my light just burned out. They said that the grapes that they're making, the wines that they're making now, are really doing quite well, but they are in desperate need of supplies. Things like cask and fermenters, bottles, other equipment, and they're asking the European counterparts, European neighbors, if they would be willing to donate these things to the wineries in Ukraine so they can keep going. Bottom line here, it says the thing that we don't know the magnitude. We're trying to see the scale of what's going on and how big of an effort it's going to have. We're too early and the war is too fresh, and most importantly, the war isn't over yet. So, Ukrainian wines, right there in the birthplace of the civilization next to Georgia and stuff like that. So, again, look it up, look up Ukrainian wines and look at some of their wineries. It's very, very interesting. What I did, I didn't want that. Okay, here we go. So, okay, lace wings. I don't know if you're sure what a lace wing. Lace wings look something like a dragonfly. 4 wings and little small things. They look something like a dragonfly. Well, lace wings are being used in a lot of wineries now around the world to try to control pests. They're also referred to as aphid lions, A-P-H-I-D, excuse me, aphid lions, because of the predatory nature in the vineyard. And they became a major ally for growers around the world. It's a eco-friendly method, and it's good for organic, certified organic, biodynamic, and a lot of these other types of certifications you can get because they are, pests. They are natural predators, and they are being let loose in the growing in the spring. And one method is to have little cards, like index cards with eggs on them, which are grown in lacewing farms, I guess. But they put them out in the vineyards and let them hatch out. Now, these lacewings will eat mealybugs, aphids, thripes, leafhoppers, spider mites, and that's just some of the things that they'll take care of. It says that despite their short lifespan of just 2 to 3 weeks, in that period of time, they will consume up to 250 leafhopper nymphs, or 11,200 spider mites. So they are really quite prolific eaters when it comes to that. They set out the cards, and they said that setting out the cards is quite labor intensive, but it is well worth the time and effort. They're looking at now doing a less labor intensive release. There is a oh, Jesus. My head just, stopped right there. Using drones. That's the word I was looking for. They're using drones to put the lacewings out there instead of having to go out and put the cards out all over. Drones are being employed. And they said it's much faster, much easier, less labor intensive, and cheaper. So, the lacy winged, let's see, where am I? Okay. The lace wings, or aphid lions, as they're sometimes called, is now the new vineyard pest remover. They find that it's working extremely well. Okay, and there's something else. We've talked about climate change a lot. I mean, we're always talking about climate change, and everybody we get on as a guest tends to bring it up every once in a while, and with good reason. It's affecting the vineyards. I was playing golf today, and I mentioned something to the two guys I play golf with all the time. I said, I'm not sure what all I'm going to talk about tonight. And one guy says, how about climate change? I said, well, I've talked about that an awful lot. I said, you can't help but talk about it when it comes to grapes and vineyards and stuff like that. He said that he had just heard that they are, not heard, but he saw a program that was talking about the climate change in the Champagne region of France, how it's starting to affect the grapes there, and how it's starting to affect the outcome of the grapes. I asked him what show, and he can remember, because anymore you can look up anything on YouTube. But he said that it's starting to affect the grapes. The show was really talking about how the heat is affecting some of the big wine-growing regions of the world. And he said because of the heat in France and the Champagne region particularly, he said they're saying that California probably could pick up the gauntlet, if you will, of Champagne and do it. And I told him, I said, you sure? And he goes, yeah. He said that's they were saying that California could be the next one. Well, I don't know. I mean, California's going to have to step up on their Champagne wineries, because there's not a whole lot of them. I think there's a couple, 3 of them, and that's all I can think of right now. But there may be a lot more. But making bubbly can be quite intense because of the pressures the bottles are on and all that stuff. Well, he also said that they mentioned Italy and Spain and Germany and the whole European continent of how climate change is affecting the grapes there and all. So I saw this article, will climate change help hybrid grapes in the U.S. wine industry? And I thought, well, yeah, possibly, but they're still not catching on yet. I mean, when you go out and you start looking for wine, you start looking for names you know, and you don't often think about grabbing something else that is not familiar to you. Well, the pressures of all the different things in grapevines, I mean, stink bugs, spotted lanternflies, insects that feed on the vines, it goes on and on. But this is because of the European grapes. They were brought over to the United States, and a lot of these bugs are American, if you are North American continent, problems, bugs, all this stuff, getting into these Vitis vinifera grapevines, and the native grapevines of the United States have never had these problems. So the hybrid grapes are a cross between the Native American grapes, indigenous, and the European varieties. So this is what they're looking at doing now. Now, in fact, the article even said that the indigenous grapes have always been referred to and as foxy or musky or not anything that you want to try. You talk to some people, though, and they said, actually we talked to a winery out of, Kentucky, I think, and he did muscadine grapes, and he said we should embrace these grapes. These are the best grapes in the world and all that stuff. So they're sold on it. But I've always thought they had this, and foxy was, I thought was one of the best descriptive words you can use for the muscadine or the hybrid grapes. And it's hard to explain what I mean by foxy, but it's just like it was like a fox tails ran through your mouth to me. That's really what I always looked at as foxy. And they weren't clean, and they weren't, they were sweet. Well, the hybrid grapes are overcoming a lot of these problems that you associate with hybrid grapes, and especially with the American native grapes, because they've been working on it and all that. And so you're coming up with grapes that are much, I wouldn't say much better. Yes, much better. Much better than what they were. And because of that, they're looking at embracing that in the wine industry of the United States. And it's something they need to do. Now, there are some ignored grapes out there that they can use instead of just the hybrids, what they call the heritage grapes. Heritage grapes are ones that are genetically different from the Vitis vinifera. And the Vitis. I used to know all the American grape names. I can't think of it. But they don't really get the disease. These are the Burdin, B-U-R-D-I-N, which is the heritage grapes, Empire State, which is the name of another one, and the Jefferson. The Burdin is a red grape. The Empire State is the green grape, a white grape, and the Jefferson is also a red grape. So, University of Minnesota has, there you go, Vitis riparia, which is often referred to as Minnesota's native grape. They've produced some hybrid wine grapes that can flourish in colder regions, which is good things here because they can put them up north. And they are coming up with great ones, as is Cornell University. They have constantly came out with some new grapes and new hybrids that will grow well. The small amount that's being made, though, now is not even making a dent into it. According to, let's see, the amount of total U.S. wine consumption, this is by Wine Spectator magazine, said that in 2019, consumption was around 328.9 or 329 million cases a year in the United States. So a long ways to go for these hybrids. But the hybrids may be the grapes of the future because they are more acclimated to the climate change and to all that. wine grapes that we get from Europe really are quite fragile. They they can't stand the cold. They can't stand too much of the heat. They've got to have the right amount of water and stuff like that. Whereas the hybrid grapes are bred are mixed and to be able to withstand the cold and be more tolerant of the heat, be more tolerant of drought, and also be able to fight off downy mildew and all these other types of afflictions that will affect just the straight European grapes. So you may be seeing more on the shelves. And the thing is with it, it's not going to jump out and take over all the way, but give it a try, because you may find some of these that you really enjoy and that you find is worth picking up every once in a while. So those are hybrid grapes. And one other thing I want to mention here too is I said before something about the Michelin star restaurants a while back, and I wanted to check on that. Well, Tampa just recently got awarded 3 new Michelin-starred restaurants, and St. Petersburg didn't get any, but Tampa got 3 new ones on the list now. Michelin restaurants are based on the cuisine, the wine list, and just different criteria that is minute, but they look at all this stuff. And I thought, well, that's pretty cool that they got this. But as I was going through and reading the article even more, I found that there's a lot of the Michelin certified restaurants, are dropping out of the program, are not wanting to renew their Michelin association. And it's because they said it's just too difficult to keep up with the rules that they have. And also they said it's the cost, and people come in thinking that because it's a Michelin, it's going to be a certain way, and they said that they don't like that. So a lot of them are dropping out. So I just found that interesting that you can not renew your membership, I guess is called, or not renew your whatever it's called, and being a Michelin restaurant, and just if you don't like it, just say no longer. Although I don't know, I guess people aren't as impressed with it. Maybe it's just me, but a Michelin restaurant, I guess if you go into a restaurant and it's a Michelin restaurant, you're going to expect to pay a lot more money because it is a Michelin restaurant as opposed to one that isn't. And that might be one of the factors for these restaurants dropping out too. So there's a bit of information for you tonight. I apologize for the sound and whatever on this. I'm going to have to get a hold of Blog Talk Radio and ask them, or Mike, you can send them an email, since it's it, I don't, and so.
Well, I was gonna
explain to them that.
I was gonna contact them anyway. Not only just the problems that we've had here, but now they're going after your lights. I mean, that is just—they're taking it too far.
Yeah, I know.
They are taking it.
That's just that's the final step there.
Mess with your
your
online, your audio. They can mess with that because that's something you would almost expect, not out of them, but obviously now it's so regular. But then when you said your light just burned out, I thought, okay, that's too far.
Yeah.
And
well, and it's not just like it's a fluorescent light bulb, or they don't have them anymore. But it's not just like that. This is a round light with a magnifier on it, so it's got to be a round. Yeah, so it's a special light, and it just burned out. Yeah.
Wow.
So.
Yeah,
I
might be the same
never
type.
had one of those burn out like that before on me.
Sounds like a same type I have on my my hobby table that I have in here. It's where I can see things and it magnifies it and everything. It's like some of these parts you got to look at, really carefully, but it definitely helps. I
do stamps and coins, and that's what I use it for.
Oh yeah,
and, it definitely helps.
Yeah.
But, my light burned out on it. It's flickered a few times, and all of a sudden it just went out and made a buzzing noise, and I turned it off, and it's gone. So I hope it's not the ballast, not ballast, but the filament or whatever.
Yeah.
Because I had to replace my last one because something went out on it, and I couldn't just put a new light bulb in it. It just didn't work. So I hope it's not the same thing with this. That could get expensive, having to buy new lights every time. That's crazy.
It's not fun. Yeah.
Sure.
Okay. Well, we will go ahead and close the show out for this evening on June the 16th. It is 1:05 a.m. in London, 8:05 p.m. here on the East Coast, Eastern Time, and we will be back next Thursday live, 7 p.m. Eastern Time, on Blog Talk Radio, Facebook, and YouTube on June the 23rd. So mark your calendars.
Hopefully,
we won't have any issues. We'll see.
Yeah, hope we don't have any issues. Yeah, you're going to have to email them and tell them what's going on.
Yeah,
I mean, every other week we can't do this.
We'll see if we
ridiculous.
So we can find out. All right.
So,
we'll see you all next week.
Thank you for listening. Be safe out there. We'll see you next week.
Thank you.
This concludes tonight's broadcast of All About Wine with your host, Ron. For show information, links to All About Wine on Twitter and Facebook, or to be a guest on the show, visit the show website at www.allaboutwinetr.com. Our shows are available for download on iTunes.
That's true.
Our show page at blogtalkradio.com. /All About Wine. Thank you for listening.
Wow.
Drink responsibly, and we'll see you next time on All About Wine.
Did you start the other one? You started the other one.
Facebook, or to be a guest on this show, visit the show website at.
Okay. Did you start that other one? Because I didn't touch it.
I started it, and then it turned off on me. It's still running, though.
Oh, I turned it off.
There's not any sound.
Okay. Yeah. Oh. Yeah, I tried to play it on this end and hit the exit button or the stop button. Oh, we're still on. Let me unhook us here from... You did it again.
Oh, there it goes again.
This concludes tonight's broadcast of All About Wine.
I just played